power corrupting. Power does not corrupt. My downfall came from Stalin. Stalin appeared to the working class people as a sort of god. The people were, oh, Stalin is going to do great things for us. We must all vote for Stalin. But no, Stalin was a treacherous leader, and they would see this later after he had already come to power when it was too late. But okay. But the only part of this novel that I truly enjoyed was Orwell's portrayal of my passion for ideology. I am known for my passion for ideology. In fact, in the past, it has gotten me in great amounts of trouble. But this is because I will go to any measure, I will go to any length to promote my ideology. And in fact, it was my ideology that I wanted to gain rights for the working class. This was my inspiration for the Red Army. So, now we come to my documentary. My documentary, my goal was to show you, the public, the rest of the world, the other side of the communist issue. I'm sure when most of you hear communists, oh, the communists are bad, and stay away from the communists. But that is because you do not understand what communism truly is. I will give you an example. So I created the Red Army to fight for the working class, yes? And I have a lot of men in my army, big, strong, healthy men to fight for working class. But with all of these men, a lot of hungry men, they're hungry. So my country is impoverished at this time. We're in the middle of the Russian Revolution, and there is not enough food to go around. The peasants are starving, and as it is, they do not have a lot of food to begin with. But I must feed my army so that they stay strong and healthy. So I am forced to take some of the food from the peasants, not a lot, just a little, to give to the army, to keep them strong and healthy. But people, when they find out that I do this, they say, oh no, you are killing the peasants, you are starving them. And I say, no, this is not my goal. I just want to keep my army healthy so that the peasants, they will get rights. But no, people take it the wrong way. Oh no, war communism is associated with negative connotation. Because this example is the basis for my theory of war communism. And it is my hope that now after explaining this to you, and after you will watch my movie, that your perception about the idea of communism will change a little bit, so you will think differently. So that is the first part of my movie. The second part of my movie shows you the training of the Red Army. Now, like I said before, these peasants had had no prior military training until I recruited them for my army. So I was forced to put my army through such extensive training to really prepare them for the inevitable battle with the White Army. And you will see, the training is very modified, I will say, in my video, because I do not think that it would be legal to show you what we did on pure American TV. But at this time, I think we will be ready for the movie now. Lev Davidovich Bronstein, born in the Ukraine. He originally set out to study mathematics. While he was away at school, politics captured his imagination and changed him forever, just as it will change anyone who becomes involved with it. He was later sent to jail and deported to Siberia for forming one of his many unions to promote the rights of union workers. This was just the first of many trips to prison, but he did manage to escape. It was at this time that he stole the name he would be infamously remembered by from an unsuspecting inmate. It is perceived that this man, just an ordinary man until he fell in love with the idea of changing the world, was the epitome of evil. Commies, as he and his people were referred to, were thought of as trying to corrupt the world with their formidable ideas. However, a new perspective is taken on when viewed from his position. He was a man inspired to do good in the world, just an ordinary man who wanted to follow his idol, V.I. Lenin. However, his idea of good and the public's were two very different ideas. He and Lenin, a part of the Bolsheviks, led a coup d'etat in overthrowing the Tsar and doing away with Imperial Russia. This was a major victory in the eyes of communists because they now had complete power to run the country in whatever way they desired. It was then that his army became a vital asset to success. As an army made up of peasants, extensive training was needed to form and shape them into an undefeatable army. Around the time of Lenin's death, however, it became clear that it was going to take more than his army to claim his rightful role as ruler of the country. Stalin appeared to the people as a god of sorts, a new face that was not associated with war communism or any of the other acts that had been forced upon the Russian people. Their myopic viewpoints rendered them unable to see that war communism was justified. They could not see that this was necessary for the building of the army that would give them rights. But no matter. They later learned through the Ukrainian famine just how treacherous Stalin could be. Lev was exiled from the country country and found refuge with a friend of his, Diego Rivera. A life of being unjustly accused of evil, of rallying his country together in a coup d'etat to overthrow the Tsar, side by side with his idol, only to be exiled from the same country which he had saved. It was all worth it. His vision of a communist world where the working class no longer suffered, where everything was shared by everyone. This was his utopia, and he changed the world in the attempt to attain it. How he attempted to accomplish this task? Well, the ends justify the means. After all, everyone is equal, but some are more equal than others. And in order to spread communism to the world, his Red Army had to be built up from the ground, where only the best were allowed to serve. Some men just didn't have what it took. The name, you might ask? Trotsky. His vision? Red. At ease, gentlemen. As you know, you have signed up to be part of a special faction of the Red Army. In doing so, you have dedicated your lives to a most worthy cause, freeing Russia from the ruthless control of the Tsar and giving communism to the rest of the world. Before we begin training today, I must explain the 4 stations you will be training at. These stations have been specifically designed to enhance 3 areas: your endurance, your agility, and your strength. In the first station, you will be running through tires. This will enhance your endurance. In the second station, you will be familiarizing yourselves with the types of warfare used during battles. This will enhance your ability. In the third station, you will be running a sprint. This will also enhance your endurance. Finally, in the fourth and the final station, you will be doing an exercise to improve your arm strength. Now, before we begin, you must all change out of your peasant's clothing and into the clothes that have been provided for you. Meet back here at 0900. Dismissed. In this first exercise, you will be running through tires. You will run through them 3 times. Now form a single file line and get moving. In this second exercise, you will be familiarizing yourselves with the types of rifles used during warfare. I will distribute them, and you will be able to use this wall as an example of cover to practice your aim. Now get started. In this third exercise, you will be running a sprint. You will do this twice, and by the second time, you will need to complete it in under 5 seconds in order to pass. Ready? Begin. For this fourth and final exercise, you will need to undergo a strength training obstacle course. When you have completed it, report back to where we met this morning. Begin. At ease, gentlemen. I've seen some hard work out there today, and I'm proud of it. However, there's one of you that I'm sure would never make it in this army. If you would all turn around at this time.
The Oscars.
Please have this gentleman escorted from the building immediately.
Oh, excellent. We're surprised to see you here, Trotsky. Ladies and gentlemen, as you're probably aware, this man you see before you, probably convinced you at this point that he's the most important figure in Soviet history next to Lenin to enhance his army. Without the people here, who is he fighting for?
Excuse me, what in Lenin's name do you think? Barging in here, interrupting my movie, my performance here, and who are you?
Ladies and gentlemen, you may recognize me from the movie as a single soldier who was shot. While I am a strong believer in communism, after being shot and left for dead by this man standing before you, I realized that I could not let myself give up on my beliefs just because I was deemed unworthy of the communist movement, for agreeing with some of Trotsky's ideas. I began to train as a soldier